Hi, this is GT Report. We are at Ultima Park for the second round of the British Endurance Championship. It's coming up. So here's a question for you. When is an Ultima GTR not an Ultima GTR? When it's a Taranis. Yeah, let's check it out. The MacG Racing team have been competing in the Britcar series with a Taranis since 2016. However, the eagle-eyed amongst you will probably spot that the car looks a lot like an Ultima GTR. Well, you'd be right. For a number of years prior to 2016, the team were indeed running an Ultima GTR, but by 2014 it started to become clear that the car would soon struggle to be competitive against the current and evolving batch of GT3 cars. It was decided to embark on a project to fully upgrade the car. There were certain constraints. Some of the existing components which had been developed for the Ultima, such as the suspension system, had to be reused. The design also had to utilise the central cockpit and bodywork section of the Ultima. The rest, however, was a free-for-all. The project to upgrade the car started in late 2014. The design focused around improving reliability by improving packaging to reduce component stress, improve heat management and respecifying certain components. It also had to strengthen areas which were deemed too close to failure. Performance was improved with improved suspension geometry, increasing chassis stiffness, increased aero, lowering the centre of gravity and discarding unnecessary weight. In its first test at Donington Park, it was putting in laps some 4 seconds quicker than the Ultima had managed, despite having the same power to weight ratio and the test being conducted on old tyres. So, let's have a closer look at exactly what has gone into this car. The engine is a MacG Racing custom-built 7-litre LS7, producing 550 brake horsepower. It features a 3-stage dry sump with vacuum regulator, custom camshaft, all forged internals and a MacG Racing designed induction system. This gives a top speed, depending on gearing, of around 200 miles an hour. The transmission is an Albin's ST6M sequential transmission with drop gears, adjustable LSD and Geartronic's paddle shift and external cooler. The clutch is a triple plate ceramic clutch with an ultra lightweight flywheel. In the cockpit there is a Motec M800 ECU and SDL-free logging and display system with traction control and shift lights. For the driver there is an FIA approved race seat and FIA approved 6-point harness. Autotel digital car-to-pit radio provides the all-important comms. The front and rear uprights, wishbones, drive shafts and roll bars are all designed by MacG Racing with quantum 2-way adjustable dampers. Stopping power comes from front-mounted AP Racing 6-pot endurance specification brakes with 4 pots on the rear. The wheels are manufactured by Braid with a 13 by 18 inch at the rear and a 10.5 by 18 at the front. Sticking the car to the ground is a MacG Racing developed aero kit, including a full flat floor, front splitter, rear wing, canards, side skirts, vented arches and diffuser. At the heart of all this is Johnny McGregor, technical director and lead driver of the team, and we caught up with him to find out a little bit more about this car.
Started off with the Ultima, which you look on paper and it looks like a very fast car. I think the reality is that it absolutely is on the road, but of course as soon as you bring it to the track and you fit on slicks and you up the downforce a bit, you're putting a huge amount more force through the drive line and the chassis and everything else, and fundamentally it was far in excess of what the car was capable of taking. So we initially had a problem with drive shafts breaking, for instance. So we, after using a couple of sets unsuccessfully, we decided that what we were going to do was redesign them, put them on the car, and it kind of worked. So then we went on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And we ended up really redesigning the majority of the driveline and the suspension over time. We actually came here to Ultima Park in 2014 with the Ultima, and a customer driver spun the car on the first lap and went backwards into the barrier and heavily damaged the chassis to the point where it just sort of wasn't an economical repair. So we said, okay, look, what we've done on the car has been successful. This chassis is not repairable. I think we can do a lot better if we just started from scratch. So take what we've done, apply that into a new chassis, and you know, build everything else around the chassis. And that's really where the Taranis was born. Obviously it wasn't an Ultima then, so it had our own chassis in, it had our own suspension, gearbox and drivetrain, and really, you know, the only original parts from the Ultima now are the windscreen and the doors, because obviously they're quite complex parts to make. The clams, although they look very similar, are totally bespoke, a lot more wheel arch clearance, things like that for the bigger diameter tyres. Yeah, all the side pods are totally bespoke to get more cooling in. We've moved a lot of components around, so the fuel cell's somewhere different, the battery's somewhere different. So yeah, we've ended up with a totally bespoke car.
As a project, the Taranis has pretty much taken on a life of its own, going even beyond the team's expectations.
The original plan was only to race it for 3 or 4 years, and I think this will be the 6th year for it now. And I think had we known that at the start, we probably would have done things a little bit differently, because it is being pushed to the limit now as what it can do. And obviously the competitors aren't getting any slower. You know, the next evolution of GT3 cars have come out, and as we've seen today, they are very, very fast. So definitely would have done things differently. I do really enjoy driving the car. I have found in the last 2 years though, or even the last 3 years, to be competitive with the GT3 cars, we've got to really push so hard, beyond what we ever kind of anticipated the car should be able to take. So even now we're having to find bits that have not got the life that we want on them, that we're upgrading.
A result of the success of the car is that the team has expanded significantly over the years, now running their own workshop, catering for multiple customer projects.
Yeah, so off the back of it, I mean, really, when we started, I remember when we designed our own drive shafts, we had a guy with an Ultima come to us and said, "Oh, your drive shafts didn't break today," and they did in the last 2 rounds. "What have you done differently?" And I said, "Oh, we redesigned them and fitted the new ones." And he said, "Oh, because mine broke last week, can I have a pair?" I said, "Oh yeah, fine." And then the next guy on the Monday rang and said, "Can I have a pair?" I thought, "Oh, there's something in this." So that's where we kind of spawned the business out of, and over time, you know, it's grown, and we have more and more people coming to us for parts. Then companies came to us wanting us to be a distributor for them. So yeah, the business has just sort of grown organically, as they say. And now, you know, we do have a relatively nice workshop in the Midlands. We've got a showroom there as well, and yeah, we have a lot of customer cars coming in now for upgrades. You know, some Ultimas, all sorts of other stuff. Yeah, so either fitting of the parts we supply, or service work, or setup, or you know, major things like engine rebuilds and what have you. So we do an awful lot.
After 8 years of development, what more can be done to the car?
If you'd asked me that 2 years ago, I said no, we're done. We are reaching the limit of what the chassis and the footprint and everything is capable of, I think. So there will be small tweaks, but I don't think there'll be a quantum leap anymore.
With the Taranis developed as much as it can, what sort of racing future does it have?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure. Some people have said, would you sell it? Forgot the right money maybe, but it's you know, so many thousands of hours have got into it, not just mine, but you know, the team, got a superb team behind all this. It's not, you know, it's certainly not just me by any stretch of the imagination. So we would have to look at, see what the options were, I think.
Thank you to Johnny McGregor and the MacG Racing team and their Taranis. If you like the video, please comment, like and subscribe, and maybe have a look at some of our other videos. And also don't forget to visit our website at gtreport.com.